Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to the European Environmental Bureau's annual conference. A conference that this year has been co-organized by one of our member organizations, FNÖ, in France. My name is Johanna Sandahl, and I'm the president of the EEB, Europe's largest network of environmental NGOs. We gather some 160 organizations all across Europe with a common vision. Better future where people and nature thrive together. I'm also the president of the Swedish Society for Nature Conservation, Sweden's largest environmental NGO. At this year's annual conference, we will focus on charting the path to a healthy planet. We will discuss and we will learn more about what policies and which level of ambition that is needed to improve the state of the environment, the health of our ecosystems, and to reduce the risks to human health and well-being. There is no doubt about the urgency of action. Over the last years, we've seen and experienced an increasing number of storms, floods, and fires, all across Europe and all across the world. If you travel through Sweden these days, you will see large areas of dead forests. This is a result of the last year's unusually dry summers that has given the European spruce bark beetle perfect conditions to reproduce, leaving dead forests behind. Over the last years, we've heard about the links between destruction of nature and the risks of new diseases. Science has spoken on the risks to health from air pollution and hazardous chemicals. The chemicals that are now everywhere, in the air we breathe, in the food we eat, in the water we drink, and in the blood of all human beings on this planet. But science has also underlined the benefits to human health and well-being from access to nature. Studies have shown the level of benefits from policy action and the cost of inaction. The health risks from environmental degradation underlines the urgency and the need to act. But it also brings opportunities for change. We are therefore very happy to have Dr. Maria Neira here with us today to talk about the WHO's new air quality guidelines and its wider work. This conference seeks to explore and understand who can and who should do what in the coming years to make sure the right policies are put in place to allow for the ecological and governance transformation that is needed to address the crisis we face. A specific opportunity, of course, lies in the next 2 to 3 years of the European Green Deal to ensure the legacy of the von der Leyen Commission, the Sassoli European Parliament, and the 6 Council presidencies taking us from here to the next European Parliament and Commission. That is France, Czech Republic, Sweden, Spain, Belgium, and Hungary. The European Green Deal is the first of its kind globally, with a well-argued and convincing narrative. However, so far many of the measures are short on action, and there is so much more to do. We want to understand what exactly needs to be done to make the European Green Deal live up to its rhetoric, up to its potential, and address the society's and the planet's needs. We want to understand what the next presidencies of the EU Council can do to create progress. So, a warm welcome to all of you attending this conference. I would now like to give the floor to Arnaud Schwartz, president of the FNÖ, who's joining us from France.
Thank you, Johanna. We're very, very glad to be with you today. And so FNÖ, France Nature Environnement, is a French umbrella organization for about 6,000 associations. And we are pleased to play this role given the French presidency of the EU. We will build on the work of the current Slovenian presidency and have a full plate of legislative and non-legislative files, from climate to biodiversity to chemicals to pollution. The list goes on. We are particularly pleased to have Minister Pompili joining us, as France will be the one taking over the EU Council presidency in January 2022, following on the presidency from Slovenia. The Fit for 55 climate package will be a major opportunity for French influence to keep the spirit of Paris alive, as well as progressing on biodiversity, health, chemicals, well-being. The list of needs is long, and we are sharing our vision of this way, our 10 green tests for the French presidency. The French presidency is the first of their trio, complemented by the Czech Republic and Sweden. After that, we have Spain, Belgium during the next EP elections, and Hungary when the new parliament and commission will be in place. We have almost 3 years to get the European Green Deal right, and 6 member states driving forward progress. And throughout this time, we have civil society asking for urgent action, scientists presenting evidence on what will happen if we don't act, and hopefully more and more action from the city level up to the global level. Cities are driving important progress locally, responding to the green waves of local elections. We will hear today from Françoise Bonnet on what cities are doing. Regions too are promoting progress, with different levels of agency across Europe pending the regional competencies. Nations have strong competencies and responsibilities to their peoples, working both at home and in the European and international contexts. Ultimately, we need local action with local to global consequences and global acting with global to local impacts. We are beyond the point of one stakeholder saying another should address the problem, and the conference is exploring how we can overcome the major hindrances, the blockages, the lock-ins that keep us from deeper systematic change. All of us need to work together transparently, each with enough space to make a difference. We also want to hear more about what stakeholders have to say about the futures they want and the futures they are striving to make happen. We are therefore pleased to have an excellent panel to present the perspective. We look forward to the panel discussion on this and the breakout session this afternoon as to who can and should do what to put us on a path to a healthy planet. To give civil society the space we need to share our understanding and vision, to develop collaborations, to improve governance of decision-making, to support legitimacy of democratic institutions and processes, and to work together, rolling up our sleeves to make the transition happen. A lot is on the Commission's shoulders, and we'd like to thank Veronica Manfredi, who is the director responsible for the zero pollution ambition at the European Commission, for joining us. But we also know that the EP can be a voice of progress, unfortunately with exceptions. And the Council can put the brakes on commitments. There is only progress if all 3 institutions agree. So we need to all work to motivate each. We have an opportunity in these coming years at EU level. A lot can happen, and it will need the support of social, environmental, and climate justice to help leaving a planet in a better state. Key themes for our invitees Tetiana Stadnik, and Asad Rehman. Patrizia will say more. I give it now over to the moderators.
Thank you to our EB President Johanna Sandahl and to FNO President Arnaud Schwartz for opening the European Environmental Bureau's 2021 annual conference. And good morning to everyone. My name is Patrizia Heidegger and I will be one of the two co-moderators this morning. As we've heard, we're going to have a very exciting program ahead of us this morning. We will welcome the French Minister for the Ecological Transition, Barbara Pompili, for her intervention and a short dialogue with our Secretary General, Jeremy Waits. And then we will hear from Maria Nera, Director for Public Health and Environment at the World Health Organization. She will share her vision of a healthy planet and discuss with my co-moderator, Patrick ten Brink. We will then move to the panel debate with a broad range of stakeholders to share their perspectives, their visions, their recommendations on what needs to be done to chart our path to a healthy planet and what they will do. Now, how can you interact with the speakers this morning? You're joining us on an online platform on House Space. We're waiting for your questions in the Q&A box, in particular for sessions 2 and 3. Please also share your opinion by answering to the questions that we're sharing on Slido. And do not hesitate to share your thoughts and comments through social media using the hashtag EB21. Now let me hand over to my co-moderator, Patrick ten Brink.
Great. No, thank you very much, Patrizia. I'm Patrick ten Brink of the EB. I wanted to just reiterate a little bit the red line, the red thread of this conference. I mean, we're trying to focus on what are the links between the health risks and environmental degradation and pressures. So we don't understand how and what we should do to be able to leave the planet in a fair state for the next generation. As mentioned before, we have a vision. What is your vision for the future? How can we be inspired from what's happened already successfully in the past? What system change is necessary? Because we obviously need more than small steps. And how can we achieve it? And who can do what on this pathway? All the results from today will also be feeding into all of our work on the Green Deal. We work across the dossiers and for the 6 presidencies all the way to the next Parliament. But one key issue one key question we have is the Slido question, which is focused on the Green Deal. I don't know if it can come up now, but I'll read out the questions. So we want to understand from you, what has the European Green Deal achieved to date and what needs to be done? Okay, so you're able to tick all of the boxes. So starting at one end, the Green Deal goes too far. It's already asking for too much from industry and countries, and the next 3 years risk making it even worse, i.e. it's way too much. B, it is an ambitious transformative agenda that will fully address the environmental crisis we face, so it's just right. C, it has the potential to be an ambitious transformative agenda but is weakened by the lack of ambitions of laws and commitments. Significant efforts are needed to ensure it lives up to its ambitions. So it is not enough, but it's fixable. And D, there are too many examples of where policies actually undermine the Green Deal. Without a major effort, the Green Deal risks being greenwashed and a missed opportunity, i.e. it's far too little, but fixable, just. And finally, E, there are ever-increasing loopholes, exceptions, weaknesses, and contradictory policies in the Green Deal, and expectations that things will get worse than next year's. Decision makers are reneging on their responsibilities, and there is no hope that the Green Deal will be the once-in-a-generation change we need, i.e. the Green Deal is broken. So you can choose those 5 or several. It's just to get a sense of temperature for what your expectations is. And with that, and the results of this will be picked up again by Jeremy at the end of this morning's session. So please do have a look at them. But now I'd like to hand over to Jeremy Waits, our Secretary General, who will then introduce our first speaker, Minister Pompili. Thank you very much. We'll have a few seconds break as we invite Jeremy Waits onto the platform.